I've been a fan of the Monster Hunter series for a very long time. Played it on the PS2, then the PSP, and then eventually on the 3DS. However, the 3DS version didn't really sit well with me, mainly because I didn't agree with the crafting mechanics that they implemented in the game. So when Capcom announced Monster Hunter World, that's when I knew I had to get my hands on it. And using the power of the PS4 and further enhancements that the PS4 Pro can provide, this is definitely a game that everyone should play. And I know many of you have already owned this game and are really enjoying it, but what about those of you who are thinking of getting into the game? Well, this video is for you, because today we're gonna do a quick hands-on and a review of Monster Hunter World on the PS4. So guys, as you can see, Monster Hunter World has a big improvement on its graphics, and this is obviously thanks to the PS4 graphic processing power. Now, if you are looking to get the best quality out of Monster Hunter World, then it is definitely recommended that you go for the PS4 Pro, because on the PS4 Pro you will have more graphic options, especially with adjusting the frame rates, or depending if you want to prioritize frame rates or graphic details. So those of you that want to see a pretty picture, then you can sacrifice frame rates for graphic details. But those of you who are hardcore and want to, have a pure immersive experience, then you definitely want to go for the frame rates, or you can go for a balance of both, which is basically the settings that is on the non-pro version of the PS4. The graphic is beautiful, and if you look at the armor of the characters, you can actually see that the light is actually reflecting off the armor plate, something we have never seen in any Monster Hunter before. Coming into this Monster Hunter, yes, you will be seeing huge graphic improvements, and of course there is a day and night system, and as you can see, it is currently night time. So with that, let's take a look at the world. Now, some of you might have the perception that this is an open world game. It is not really an open world game, it is more of an open area game, because at the end of the day, if you were to go out into the world of Monster Hunter, you would still need to choose the location that you want to go. So for example, like this, you have to choose the location that you want to go, and then you select that location. So for example, we're going to go to a location that I really like a lot, which is the Coral Highlands. Okay, so this is where I'm going to show you. Yes, so as I mentioned before, it is a massive open area rather than an open world. So with that, you can choose which camp you want to go to. Now, one thing I do not like about this menu is that they do not indicate where the camps are. So for some of you that don't remember the map, you have to remember that Camp 1 and Camp 12 is in the certain locations of where Area 1 and Area 12 is. If you have played the previous Monster Hunters, you definitely know what I'm talking about. For those of you who are coming into the Monster Hunter, they section the maps into different areas and they number the areas. So for example, Area 1, Area 2, Area 3, all the way up to Area 12, depending on the map that you are in. So in this case, we'll just head over to Area 1. We are finally now in Coral Highlands. Now, as you can see, the graphic is amazing. So, of course, it is nighttime when we left the headquarters, so it's currently nighttime right now. I wish I could show you when it's daytime, but it will take a while for it to transition into daytime. But with nighttime itself, you still can see that the world is beautiful. So the Coral Highlands is basically a place where some of the monsters have died in this area, and a lot of them have died, so they have produced this coral-like forest that you can see for yourself. And with that, you can see the graphics. So let's head over to the ground floor. So yes, of course, no fall damage again. A beautiful feature. In the previous Monster Hunters, it was there. They brought it back here. Last time we used to actually take a quest and then start gathering with it. So right now, if you are in, for example, right now I'm in an expedition. If you are in an expedition, all you need to do is just pick up the items that you've seen on the ground. So very nice feature. We don't have to, take a quest to actually collect items, Yeah, so you will encounter the wildlife that are in this area. So for example, this is a small monster within the wildlife, and as you can see for yourself, even the monsters are detailed. You can see, hopefully you can catch the monster. You can see that their skins are actually reflecting the light of the moonlight, which is above here. It's actually reflecting the light of their scales. Yes, the collecting has been hugely improved. You don't have to bend down on the floor anymore and dig for the items and collect them. So right now, smaller items that you can see without digging, you can immediately just pick up. Big improvement, especially for those of you who are playing ranged weapons and you need to constantly be crafting ammo. This is an excellent feature for you. Oh yes, beautiful. We are now in a water area. So as you can see, the water, huge improvements from the previous game again. Previous games, we just see a flat surface of water and the water just splashes. Right now, you can actually see through the water and you can see the distortion that the water brings. As you can see also, as you're walking, the ripples of the water follows your character, splashes when you jump down. You can just spend your time looking at the different flora and fauna that you can find in the game. So for example, we have this kind of weird looking, I would say, aloe vera plants. Looks a bit like an aloe vera plant, but it's more alive. Beautiful. For those of you who like adventure games, you know, you don't want to get so much into the action, or you want to have action, you want to play the action elements of this game with your friends. Seriously, just take your time and explore the world. So yes, this is one of the issues of playing it on a non-pro version. As you can see, those monsters in the background, they are not quite rendered yet. So you can see that their movements are a bit erratic. It's not so right. The wings flapping is not so smooth. So that's one of the issues if you're going to be playing this on a slim. But if you're playing this on a pro, the draw distance is much better. So you can actually see more details in the distance, and it will basically have more clarity to a lot of the textures in the game. Now, let's get back over to the game mechanics, because right now they have actually changed how you were to upgrade your weapon and how you can modify some of the weapons that are available in the game. So with that, let's head back over to the town. Alright guys, so we are back in town. So now we're going to head over to the workshop. Now the workshop, similar like the other Monster Hunters, is where you craft your weapons and you upgrade your weapons. But in the case of this Monster Hunter, it's taking some elements from Monster Hunter Generations, which was on the 3DS. Where the Monster Hunter Generations, you were only allowed to upgrade a weapon, and it didn't feel very intuitive, which was one of the reasons why a lot of people dropped out of Monster Hunter Generations, including myself. I only played the game for about 3 months, didn't really like the upgrading system, so I left it. So Capcom managed to take that upgrade system and vastly improve the system. So how it works is very simple. So generally you have forging of equipment, which is where you forge depending on what equipment that you want. Okay, so for example, of course you can forge many of these weapons, like most of the weapons you have already seen in the previous Monster Hunters. So for example, if I were to forge a dual blades, I have this system now. Now the system is a bit different. Okay, so let me explain to you the system and let me tell you what I think about the system. So the system here works where it works in a tree format. Okay, so you start off with the first tier, which if you look at the ore tree, you start off with this dual blades. Okay, and from there you can upgrade it to a leveled up version of the dual blades by paying certain resources and money. So from there you can go all the way up to the end of the first tier, or you can choose to branch into another tier. So for example, if you upgrade it to the second tier, then you can branch out over to the Kulu Yakut tree, which basically gives you different stats or gives you different affinities, elements, sharpness also. So once you go over to the Kulu Yakut tree, you start with again the first upgrade of the tree. So once you head over to the third or the fourth upgrade, you will get, as you can see on the top right there, you will get a sleep element. So in previous Monster Hunters, where it was on the PS2 and the PSP, you would just build that weapon and you stick with that weapon and you just upgrade the attack. Whereas here, they give you the option to expand the tree, which actually makes it much easier to look at what you want with the trees now, with the weapons itself. So for example, I can also head over to the Yeezy Yakut tree from going to the third tier in the ore tree. Now, it's a bit complicated. Yes, I agree it is a bit complicating because at certain parts, like especially here, you don't know what weapon this is, okay? Because the idea is that they want you to progress into the game for you to unlock more upgrades into the tier 3. Now, I don't really see the point of it, to be honest, because eventually as you play through the story mode of the game, you will eventually unlock all these trees. But honestly, I just feel that they should just give us the whole entire tree, so you know we can plan out from the start. Especially for those of you that are veteran Monster Hunter players, you definitely know what you already planned. Like you already know that you want this element for this type of weapon, or you want this weapon to go over to that weapon. And so honestly, I don't really like that, you know, they don't just expand the whole entire tree. But you know, again, it's fine as long as you progress into the game. You know, you will figure out these kind of things. But the one thing that does save this system is that if you were to upgrade your weapon, so for example, I'm going to go over to the upgrade menu. I'm going to go over to my longsword. So my longsword is a fire longsword. Now, the good thing about the upgrade system in this Monster Hunter, if let's say you were to mess up your upgrading and you want to roll back your upgrading, So this Monster Hunter actually allows you to roll back. So for example, I am now in this section. As you can see, is indicated with a box icon on the Arjana 3, the first tier. So the box icon indicates that I currently am wearing that equipment, or I currently own that equipment. Okay. Now, if let's say now I mistake, I don't want to go to the Arjana 3. I wanted to carry on with the bone tree and eventually go on to this this tree, which I haven't unlocked. Okay. So what I can do is I can go over back to the previous tier, okay, and I can actually roll back the upgrade. So for those of you that maybe you know, you're not really sure what you want with the weapons and maybe some of the elements in the weapons, you can easily just upgrade it. It's fine. Just upgrade the weapon up to its highest potential, because once you earn the resources and the money, you can easily just roll back, which I think really save this upgrading system. Because I honestly still don't like this tree system. I still prefer that, you know, they tell you you can craft this weapon, you can craft this weapon, and you can just immediately get it instead of going through this progress. But because of this system, I'm quite happy with what they have done here. Alright, so now we are in combat. We're going to hunt a monster. One very big improvements to the deploying stage, where, you know, you prepare yourself here at the camp before you go hunt out the monster, is that you can finally eat while in mission. Yes, in some of the previous Monster Hunters, you could not eat in the mission, and if you forgot to eat, you will need to fail the mission, or either abandon the mission and head back to base, eat, and then take the mission again. Now, I want you to bring your attention to the top right of the screen. As you can see, the move set changes depending on the combos that you are in. So, for example, right now you can see on the top right that this is the current combos that I can perform. Now, as I attack, you can see that the screen changes. Now, this is good for those of you that are learning the game, but it's going to be definitely a bit of an issue if you're going to be diverting your attention to the top right of the screen when there is a monster right in front of you trying to kill you. So, I would really recommend that if you want to use that system, definitely try to fight a simple monster first before you head on and you know, go all gung-ho on a big monster. Because it is going to be hard if you take your attention off, especially in situations like this where the monster moves a lot and it's flying. Hate flying monsters. It's so annoying. Now guys, I don't want to get too in-depth into the different weapon types and the improvements they have made throughout the game, but if you guys are interested to know the different other weapons that I've been using, because currently I'm actually using a charge blade, I am using a longsword, dual blades, and a heavy bow gun. So if you guys are interested to know more about the weapon features and the types and all that, do let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll make a second video about that. Alright, so as you can see, my weapon sharpness is pretty terrible right now. So in the previous Monster Hunters, you will have to sheath your weapon and then open up the item menu, as you can see on the bottom right, and then select the item from doing this. Well, the new Monster Hunter has a big improvement now, because now you have shortcuts. So what you can do is, you can, again, you have to open up the weapon menu, yes, but you can assign items to the right analog button. So pushing the right analog button in a certain direction will make you use that item. So for example, I need a whetstone and I put the whetstone on L1 with the right analog pushing up. So all I need to do is just do this. Simple. I'm already sharpening my weapon. Of course, that was a bad place to sharpen a weapon. But it applies to almost all consumables and certain items. So for example, if I want a potion, I've assigned my potion to the right analog, pushing it to the left. As you can see, I put a potion there, so immediately I'm drinking that potion. I do not have to open the menu and search for the item here. It's all simple. Best part is, you can customize that reticle menu. So you can put different types. If you prefer different positioning for your items also, you can go ahead and set that. So for me, I'm pretty happy with this, the default positioning. So guys, there you have it. That was the review of Monster Hunter World. Now I know there are a lot of things that I left out in the game, but because the game mechanics is so vast, it will take a very long time to cover everything about Monster Hunter World. So for those of you who need more clarification on any of the mechanics that the game provides, or just want more in-depth information on a certain topic within the game, do let us know in the comment section below. And with that guys, I hope you like this video. If you do subscribe, do give us a like, and do tell your friends to play Monster Hunter World. And with that guys, I'll see you in the next video.